The human body is an amazing thing. You know, it was created to last forever and never die. Think about it. Every day, 3 billion cells are renewed. Over a period of time, all the cells in our body, they're renewed. There's a saying that every 7 years you get a new body because all of our cells in all of our organs, throughout our whole body, our skin, our hair, our nails, all of those cells are replaced over a period of time. The only ones are the eyes and the brain cells that do not get replaced. It's an amazing thing. It's even designed to produce its own vitamins, some nutrients you have to get from outside, but our body makes its own vitamins. All we need is air, water, and some added nutrients, and it will last. It even has a repair system. In case there is damage, it's designed to repair the body. It's just there waiting. That's why I don't understand how they can tell us that there are incurable diseases. How is it incurable when the body can fight against anything that comes against it? When you look deeper, I realize that, okay, they just want to treat the symptoms. They want to tell us it's incurable so that we don't look for a cure because they're not looking for a cure. They want to treat symptoms because it's just a cash cow. You keep coming back for more medication only to treat the symptoms. They don't want you to be cured because there's no money in the cure. Who is they? Big Pharma. Every commercial you see now on television telling you if you feel a certain way, you need this new drug, that new drug. And they're just brainwashing us, conditioning us to be hooked on drugs. But in our body, we have a repair system that's better than any medication you can take, and it's our stem cells. Stem cells are designed to repair the body. Anything that's wrong, the stem cells are there to repair them. Stem cells are different from other cells in the body in that they divide and renew themselves over a long time. They're also unspecialized, so they cannot do specific functions in the body like heart cells does heart functions, kidney cells does kidney functions. Stem cells aren't like that. They're like spare parts. They're just blank. But they have the potential to become specialized cells. Just like any organ cells, muscle cells, stem cells have the potential to become those. So if there's something wrong with your lung, your heart, your kidney, even your skin, stem cells have the potential to become those cells, thus repairing the body. Now, doctors and scientists are excited about this because imagine the potential to repair your organ with stem cells. The only problem is, you remember this guy, the Maytag repairman? By the age of 30 years old, 50% of your stem cells become dormant. By the time you reach 60, 90% of your stem cells become dormant, like the Maytag repairman. They just fall asleep. Now, what doctors have done is they found ways to get stem cells and inject them into the body. For example, if you had a problem with your knee, they could inject stem cells into your knee. Now, they get these stem cells from different sources, some from umbilical cords, embryos, even animals. Whether it's ethical or not, that's for you to decide. But they will take these stem cells and inject it into your body. Now, there's a chance that it works, chance that it won't. It costs thousands of dollars. It's very expensive. Doctors find that promising because they're using these stem cells designed to repair our body and putting it right where the body needs it. Many times it just doesn't work. There's no money back guarantee. There's no guarantee that it's going to work. I think it would be better if we just found a way that we could activate the dormant stem cells. Wake up that sleepy Maytag repairman. It's already in your body, so there's no injection needed. It's not going to cost a lot of money. Just find a way to activate the stem cells already in our body instead of injecting something foreign into our body. In walks David Schmidt, the founder, CEO, and inventor of the X39 patch. Now, let me tell you a little bit about David. David's experience in business and product development spans over 30 years, and he holds over 100 patents on the X39. The LifeWave technology was born out of 3 years of intense research by David for the U.S. military into the concept of being able to naturally increase energy and stamina through elevation of fat burning, utilizing wireless communication to the human body via phototherapy. What does that mean? Well, all of these So-called incurable diseases have been reversed using the X39 patch. Just a simple patch worn on the back of the neck or below the belly button. And we've got testimonials here, people with high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, multiple sclerosis, on and on and on, that are being reversed just by wearing the patch.
Well, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure and a bad valve leaking. I think they call it a bad murmur or something like that. And also stage 4 kidney disease. I guess I was really messed up. And
Yeah.
anyway, there were several things that they diagnosed. And last year, it was around September, not the end of September. I went to the doctor and he looked at me and was listening and he said, "That's not good." And I said, "What's that?" But he didn't answer me. So I didn't know what was not good. But when I came back, well, this past Monday, I took mom with me because she wanted to see him too. And he was checking her and said, "Boy, you seem to do amazingly well." But by the end of last year, we thought both of us was going to go the way it was going, you know. But in the middle of December, I started using X39 and 49. And we kept using it, and I could tell there was some difference. I felt a lot better. And mom's got back up, and she's 91. She started washing dishes again by hand and stuff. And I told her, you don't have to do that. She said, "I want to. So anyway, we was at the doctor's office and he was saying she did so much better. And he was listening to my heart and all that and having me breathe and everything. And he went over and sat down and he looked so puzzled and he kept looking at the charts. And I said, "Doc, I guess I need to know that kidney disease, you told me I may be headed for dialysis. Uh, is it better? Did I get up maybe to a 3 or something?" He goes, "No, no." I said, "Oh, I was kind of hoping." He said, "Actually, you're stage 2 and falling, it looks like." So I
Wow.
went from stage 4 to stage 2. And I said, "Well, the last time I was here, you told me that, boy, that's really bad when you listened to me. I didn't know what you meant. You didn't say." He said, "Well, your heart murmur had gotten so bad, I was afraid the valve was going to start failing." I said, "Oh, well." I said, "Well, did it improve?" He said, "I could barely hear anything. I don't know." And he kept looking through his notes and he said, "This doesn't make sense." He said, "What did you do? You went to another doctor and got a prescription for something. I really need to put it in your record so we'll know what it is." I said, "I never went to another doctor. I mean, I just patched myself." He said, "Well," he said, "I know that, but what did you do?" And I said, "No, I literally patched myself. And I patched my mother too. It's called LifeWave X39." And he looked a little, he said, "It's called what?" And I said, "LifeWave." He jumped on his computer and started looking it up. And he said, "I'm going to have to research this."
You're welcome.
All right. I have another gentleman out of the Seattle, Washington area. He is also a pastor, coincidentally, and he has an incredible testimony as well. Harry Johnson, would you please unmute yourself and share your video?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to cut this pretty quickly because I respect your time. But long story short, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and it was not good. I didn't have any energy. I was arguing with God. I was tired all the time. I'd take my kids to the bus stop at 6 in the morning, come back home, have to get into bed and lay down. My wife was wondering what was going on with me. It was just a terrible struggle. After my argument with God one day, the next day in the mail, I got these patches. And my good friend Lester Berry sent them to me, but he only sent me 3. And so I tried those 3, and quite frankly, I didn't feel anything. Nothing happened. But I thank God that I was persistent in getting on these calls and listening to testimony after testimony after testimony. And I realized that all these people cannot be lying. So I decided to come on board. I ordered the top package. I got all these packages in the mail, and I started wearing the patch. They said in 6 months, your heart begins to reverse in age. I was pretty desperate. So I gave it a try. February 1st, I started. And I'll tell you, it took about 3 weeks for my body to begin to respond. So everybody's body is a black box. You respond differently. There's 2 flights of stairs going up to my office, and I would get to the top and I'd be out of breath. And then one day I noticed I went up these 2 flights of stairs and I wasn't breathing hard. I went back down, came back up, went back down, came back up, 6 flights of stairs. And I realized something is going on. I feel better. So I called my cardiologist in October and I said, hey, I need my heart retested. I think I'm better. So they were so booked up, they couldn't get me in until January of this year. So I went in, they tested my heart. They told me they'd call me. They told me they posted online the results. I said, fine. I went to my office. I was meeting with clients online, and I noticed my phone kept ringing, and I looked down. It was overlay cardiology. So now I'm nervous, like, what is wrong? Why are they blowing my phone up? So I hurried up off my calls. I called the cardiologist. The assistant answered. She said, we want to talk to you about your results. And I was like, listen, I'm not being mean, but you need to cut to the chase. What's going on? I mean, am I dying? Is something wrong? And she said, no, 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 no. And then she told me something that really rocked my world. She said, your heart is back to normal. And so I praised God. I hollered, screamed, picked back up the phone. She was like, hello, hello, hello. And I said, I just knew my heart was better, but I needed proof. She began to read my file to me, which I didn't know. The cardiologist never told me. She said, I see in the notes that you're on medication, and with medication, your heart should get better, but it'll never be back to normal. And I see in the notes the cardiologist said, with blood thinners, heart medications, and so forth, we should be able to extend this life for 5 years. That really floored me. Excuse me. Okay, so long story short, my ejection fraction rate was 17. I didn't even know what that meant. I Googled it. As I'm talking to her, the screen came up and said, you are a heart transplant candidate. That floored me. So my heart is now back above normal. And I praise God for his healing. I thank God for Lester for sending me the patch. I got a lot of good friends on the call today. It means a lot to me because it saved my life. I'm able to see my kids grow up. So I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to tell you what it did for me. If you have someone you care about, someone you love, share, tell them about it. This technology is unlike anything in the world, and it allows your body to naturally heal itself. And so again, I thank God. I thank God for all of you on the call tonight. And let's just do this. You know people that are hurting. You know people that are sick. You know people in pain. Just tell them about it. It's all you have to do.
Before I brush my teeth, I'm putting a patch. Before I get in I got a patch over here that I forgot to take off last night. I got a patch back here that I put on this morning. So listen, that's part of the reason that I've had such success with this technology. I'm going to give you the abbreviated version of my testimony because it's really a progress report. Okay, now I started out type 2 diabetes. A1C 12.1, 5 insulin injections per day. You know, imagine your body requires that you have 5 insulin injections per day. Imagine going into a diabetic coma, waking up with an IV bottle with insulin rolling through your body because your body has deflated like a tire. Now fast forward, that was a decade ago, but fast forward to only 4 years ago, where I experienced a severe left side paralysis stroke. This entire part of my side of my body was completely paralyzed. I had to learn to walk, had to learn to talk. As a matter of fact, for 2 years, I just stayed silent. I didn't talk at all because it felt like when I was speaking through a tunnel. And speaking through that tunnel, by the time I could hear my thoughts, it was like, doctor, what's the prognosis coming in my head? But by the time it got to the end of that tunnel, it was going blah, 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 blah. So it was real terrible to have to experience that. So my body left my body. You know, my spirit left my body. But even though I was in there, it was just a shell. So I went through fisical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, went through all this stuff. But I plateaued. Now, I was hospitalized and put on life support And after being hospitalized and put on life support, I was therefore in the hospital for almost a month. The doctors would not let me go home without a pacemaker or defibrillator. I have that implant in my body right now, but that's, neither here nor there. It's just there, right? But the thing that happened behind that, the start of wearing this patch, and Reggie was the first person, was the person who introduced me to the patch. First thing was that my A1C went down. All right, my glucose numbers got under control. They stayed within range, all right? To be honest with you, I didn't give a patch any credence. I didn't think that it was that little quarter-sized patch doing anything. I was just wearing it because my friend said wear it, put it on. And those results were consistent, So from that day to this, I've been wearing the patch, but here's the thing that happened with the left side paralysis. My heart, I went into congestive heart failure, all right? Now that's pretty severe when it requires that you get a pacemaker and defibrillator, because you have to have a pacemaker to keep your heart pumping. You have to have the defibrillator in order for if the heart does stop, then the defibrillator kicks in the pacemaker, so the pacemaker wakes your heart back up. Now, that process in itself was very debilitating, all right? So I couldn't take care of my family, provide any income. I was just pretty much, just a shell. My heart rate, though, when the doctor said that I could get the defibrillator, he said that he can get me from 15%, that was the congestive heart failure, that's the ejection fraction. Then he said after the defibrillator, I would go to 45%. Now I was excited because I thought that would put me back on my feet and get me back to my businesses and taking care of my family and so forth, but it didn't happen. I plateaued at 45%. Now, when Reggie introduced me to this patch, man, it was like a godsend, because after wearing the patch for just 6 weeks, I go back to my cardiologist for an EKG. And the doctor was pretty astounded, because just like Reggie said, when you go to your doctor and they ask you, what are you doing? And then you show them that patch, it's like, hey, listen, you got to check this out. But what he said was really profound. He said, listen, your heart rate is improved from 45% function to 60%. That's pretty big, because first of all, he didn't believe that I could get better than 45% just with the pacemaker defibrillator. But here's what happened after that, though. And this is where the progress report kicks in. After after a year, I went back. The anniversary for that visit for that EKG would pass me 3 months ago. And it's hard to it's hard to abbreviate my story because there's so many intricacies involved. But then in the meantime, I go back to my cardiologist. He says to me, look, I got to cut your meds in half. There's no way, your heart is too strong for the strength of these medications. I'm on Entresto, carvedilol, spironolactone, furosemide. That's where the swelling comes from, to keep the swelling down. So, that's a water buildup around your heart. Now, what's exciting about my progress report at this point is that I just recently went back to my general cardiologist for an EKG. He decided he would just give me an EKG. I said, okay, fine. So he did the EKG, and this one put a big smile on my face. He said, Mr. Payton, this is incredible. I said, well, what do you have to tell me, And he said, Mr. Payton, your heart has improved from 60% function to 89% function. Currently. So that's my progress report. Listen, this is too important not to share. This is too important not to wear. I don't care what kind of health you're in. This is an elite athlete right here. And this young lady has the testimony of her body being put back together like a puzzle, like an amazing puzzle. Me, I have the amazing testimony of my heart reversing in age, right? Now, the doctor released me by saying, go work out. you can go play basketball again. Man, you should have seen me on the floor this morning. I'm not gonna do a demonstration. I'm gonna do a leg lift, and it feels good. I didn't think they were telling me that. Listen, you're probably not gonna walk again. You're probably not gonna do a whole lot of things again. And this, that, but look at me now.
Maybe everybody's lying. Maybe it's one big conspiracy and all these people got together and they're telling these stories. Well, let's look at some horses, because horses don't lie.
You may have already heard about LifeWave wearable technology, wafer-thin, lightweight patches that produce remarkable health benefits. If you're still working to wrap your mind around the more than 80 independent clinical and research studies that back up LifeWave claims, or if you just simply love this technology already and enjoy seeing it work fast, we've brought you to a quiet farm in Southern California to witness the instant power of LifeWave. Not on humans, but on horses. Because after all, horses can't be told how to react to this amazing technology. They just do, virtually every time. In fact, 2 published studies in 2005 and 2011 involving no fewer than 175 horses, one of them with a placebo-controlled element, showed significant reduction in pain using LifeWave, as shown by before and after infrared thermal images, plus generally accepted veterinarian methods for locating and measuring pain points in horses. I wanted to see for myself, and you'll get to watch right along with me. John Chance, a distributor in LifeWave since 2004, has been working within the equine industry with horse owners and rodeo competitors for years, patching thousands of horses along the way to help relieve their pain and discomfort. This Facebook video is a great example. John first locates the discomfort, then does his best to carefully place a patch near the pain. Not so easy. And just seconds later, the horse is calm and no longer reacting to pressure. Today, John has gathered several horses so we can see for ourselves what happens as he applies patches, with their owners looking on. Didn't take him too long to find some pain.
That's pain.
On goes the patch. And then look at the difference.
Stand right here.
Oh, wow.
And just push as hard as I can.
Here's another one.
Okay, that's pain.
Patch goes on.
No reaction. Pain is gone.
And now watch this.
About went to his knees. When I done this a minute ago, what the horse done? The horse kind of stumbled.
But once again, with LifeWave to the rescue.
You see horse?
I see.
No reaction.
No reaction, okay. Now what John did next really does bring focus to how fast this technology can work.
I removed the patch.
Oh.
I'm gonna take them off. Pain's probably already back, watch.
No kidding. He's reacting.
Reacting. Again.
Just like that.
Yep. And we're gonna repatch again.
And it won't react?
Won't react.
On go the patches again.
Wow.
I heard a wow over there.
Yeah. Till you see it in person, they don't believe it. All right?
And with the patches back on? Look at that. Oh, that's incredible.
And again. See, I'm just digging in that spot.
Yes, you are.
I'm digging, more pressure. And this is danger zone. I'm asking this horse and inviting this horse to kick me.
He's calmed down. He's calmed down.
Unbelievable. So basically, the whole point of doing this in the first place, John, is that horses, they don't know anything other than to be a horse and to react to what's going on. They don't know placebo. They have no agenda. And that's the whole point of this, is to say that this technology works that fast, whether it's a horse or whether it's a human. So you know what you need to do next. You need to get patched.
Let's look at the long-term results of the X39, and these are per case studies, not just theory. The first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. The brain becomes balanced within 6 weeks. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. What does that mean, folks? You start looking younger. Your body starts developing collagen, and crow's feet, wrinkles start filling in. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. This is not anti-aging, this is age reversal. It's phenomenal. Well, how does it work? It's simple. It's phototherapy. People think that you go out in the sun and the sun gives you vitamin D. No, not really. The sun shines on your skin, and that frequency of light causes your body to create vitamin D. And that's phototherapy, just like photosynthesis with the sun shining on the plants. Watch this little video and it'll explain it a little better.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. LifeWave. Live long, live well.
Now let's hear from the inventor, David Schmidt.
Please share with us how the amazing X39 technology works. We got a lot of brand partners that are brand new, so they really want to hear from you. And then we got some highly sophisticated, educated doctors in the room, so kind of relate to all of them on how this technology works.
Yeah, so the first thing to understand, I suppose, is that our bodies are based on light as a form of communication. We have a bioelectrical system in our body, which is all based on math and geometry. And if we can understand what this biological code is, we can do some really remarkable things with it. So the current direction of my research is looking at species that are immortal and looking at codes, the mathematical codes that we find in the Bible and mathematical codes that we find in nature, which I now think of as being God's fingerprint. And we can use this information to support the body's natural healing systems in ways that haven't been available before. So with the patches, which is one of many different technologies that we'll come out with. I know we'll probably talk a little bit about what's in store for the future, which is incredibly exciting. But on the patches, because this is our foundational technology and our foundational products, they stimulate the skin with a blend of different wavelengths of light that are modulated to contain information. So what does this mean? If we think of laser communications, which have been around for many, many decades now, and that's how fiber optics work. We're going to take a laser, we modulate the light to contain information, and then at the receiving end, that light is unpacked and decoded, and now we can hear voice or see video. So the human body essentially works the same way, meaning that light is emitted from the cells. And actually, how light is emitted from the cells is an incredibly fascinating subject because it's coming from the DNA and the hydrogen bonds in the DNA. And that light emission has actually come from the spiritual realm, you might say. But what this all means is that in the thousands and thousands of different biochemical reactions that are occurring at any one time, there are pulses of coherent laser-like light that is emitted from the DNA, emitted from the cells, and this orchestrates and initiates the changing biochemical environment in the cell. So what this means is that now, through normal course of aging, our glutathione or our copper peptide levels would decrease. But if we know the code where we can stimulate the skin and communicate with the body and say, hey, I'd like to increase those copper peptide levels, and I want to improve the activity of the stem cells in the body. If we know that code, then it's nothing more complicated than stimulating the skin with those wavelengths of light to instruct the cells to elevate the copper peptide. And the exciting thing is that that's only the beginning. What we can do with light-based technology is nothing short of extraordinary.
We've done over 80 independent case studies, and folks, these are different laboratories, colleges, universities, and they've all come to the conclusion the X39 patch works to increase copper peptide production in the blood, which can improve tissue repair, stimulate blood vessel and nerve growth, and improve skin. One of the studies, a double-blind randomized control study. Now, folks, a double-blind study is a study where the participant nor the researcher, neither one of them knew which one was the placebo and which one was the real deal. It revealed a significant increase in the production of 8 amino acids, which improved short-term memory, sleep, and vitality. That's amazing. That's why so many dementia patients are getting reversals with dementia, because short-term memory is what affects dementia patients. Another double-blind test showed a significant increase in copper peptide concentrations in the blood of subjects who had worn the X39 patches for just 1 week. One of the most important jobs of copper peptide is to increase healthy stem cell activity in your body. That's why increasing the copper peptide in your body is so important. These are facts about the X39. It's proven to activate healthy stem cells. They're proven to increase copper peptide, patented and clinically proven technology. I'm so excited about that. This is not another soap powder, another super fruit. This is patented and clinically proven technology. FDA recognized as a general wellness product. The FDA does not need to approve this because it is neither a food nor a drug. It's a class 1 medical device, like a tongue depressor, a Band-Aid, a stethoscope. They cannot harm you. It's non-transdermal and non-invasive. Unlike a nicotine patch, which is transdermal, nicotine transfers from the patch into your body. This is non-transdermal and non-invasive. It's actually sealed in plastic, so nothing can transfer, and that makes it waterproof and shower-proof and swim in the pool proof. It's 96% effective and very affordable, less than the cost of a cup of coffee. Imagine you can get your health back for less than the cost of a cup of coffee. And for the 4% that may not have found any effect, it's got a money-back guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose. What if it works and you can get your health back? All right, what next, folks? Get with the person that invited you here and ask them about the X39 patch, how you can get it. Get patched, whatever you do. One more thing, this company did $400 million in business last year. This year, we're slated to do $1 billion. That's a lot of money. And that's because mainly people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. But when they hear about a way that somebody that's paralyzed from a stroke can get unparalyzed again, somebody with congestive heart failure can have their heart new again, reverse in age, people are going nuts over this. Well, the company will pay handsomely if you are willing to share the word about the X39 patch. Get with the person that invited you here. If I invited you here, go ahead and give me a call or give me a text. That's my number, 954-483-5093. If you want to talk to the doc, Dr. Janice is in the house. You can give her a call, 786-423-8500. But if she's at the hospital, she's not going to answer. She works evenings. So give me a call and I can pass a message on to her. But we're going to stay on for questions and answers.